Hi, it's Double975 and welcome to Elite Dangerous on the Legacy version on Xbox. And I've got some footage of me chasing around after FOD. Now, after a recent video I did about him and some things that have happened in game, people have been asking me about FOD. Now, FOD is a throwback. He's a PvP power play guy. Now, he's only interested in PvP when it relates to power play. The way he sees it, he's the defender in Seoul. Seoul is Zachary Hudson territory, and if you're not pledged to Zachary Hudson, he will try and kill you in Seoul. So if you're in Seoul and you're not pledged to a Federation faction, either a Felicia Winters or, Zachary Hudson, he will come after you. That is what he will do. He will then fire his torpedoes, and if they hit, he'll be happy. And if they miss, he will jump away and jump away and jump away. Here I'm going after him in a medium ship, even though he's still got way more shields than me, way more weapons than me. He has no interest in fighting because he's off at a rush to reload his torpedoes. Now, do I agree with those tactics? Well, no, but it's fine. That's why he flies the Cope Cutter, because it can low wake on me. I can't do anything to stop him. He doesn't mind running and running and running and running. He doesn't mind how bad it makes him look or anything like that. He's not worried about his reputation. He's just worried about reloading his torpedoes so he's ready for the next person to torpedo. As you can see, he'll happily just keep jumping and jumping and jumping. And there's nothing I can do about it. It is hilarious when he's attacking something medium, and you have to ask yourself,
why are you running?
I mean, he still has 3 multi-cannons, a pack hound rack, a missile rack, and I'm only in a medium ship. But he has no interest in fighting me at this point. He just wants to get more ammo, so he's ready for the next fight. And you can mock him and you can try and shame him. It won't matter to him. He doesn't care. This is water off a duck's back. I just do it because, it's quite funny to me that he just keeps running away from me in a medium over and over and over again. He runs away from me in an FDL. But he always does like to sort of be ready for that next big splurge of torpedoes. And like I say, torpedo fighting for me is something that I'm not that interested in. It's pointless because we'll see in another video, he doesn't have enough firepower on that cutter to really bother anyone once he's fired his torpedoes. So he's reliant on them hitting. If they don't hit, he's kind of like got no plan B. There's no alternate option. It's not like he's going to do much else. It's quite funny. Putting an ECM on a ship just totally negates him. He cannot do anything when an ECM is present. And in fact, if you do get fed up of fighting FOD in his torpedo Cope Cutter, I will give you a tip in a moment as to what you can do to shake him out of it. It's really, really simple. There's one thing that you can do that just makes him switch ships. And interestingly, FOD would say if you have a problem with any of his tactics or his behaviour, that's a you problem. He's well within his rights to fly a Cope Cutter and use torpedoes. And as I said to him, I'm well within my rights to call it a Cope Cutter and moan at him for torpedo cheapness. I don't think he can't do it or anything like that. I haven't told him he can't do it. Do I find it cringe that he runs on mediums? Well, slightly, but that's his choice. And if you want to get him out of that cutter, just turn up with a cutter with an ECM. Because as soon as I arrived in system and he saw me in system in a cutter with an ECM, he switched ships because obviously that brings different tactics to the fight. Would he fight in that? Well, no, he wasn't interested in fighting in that unless he could play station games. Now, this is another thing that people get confused about. Now, because in FOD's mind, he is the sole defender of Seoul and he's a Fed. If he's outnumbered or if he's, being harassed, he will quite happily retreat to the station and attack you in and around the station like this, because there's nothing you can do back to him because he has the protection of the station and all the NPCs. You'll see here, I'm fully aware that that's what he's doing and I'm just ramming him to test his shields. I've only got a bi-weave on this, but it's a good indication because he's got a Prismo and I just wanted to see how strong his Prismo was. And I'll be honest, I think 1v1 I can easily take that ship, but we're not going to fight 1v1 because FOD will refuse a 1v1. He'll only fight when the tide of the fight is right for FOD. And in this case, he'll only fight me in and around the station where he gets the assistance of all the NPCs, and if I go to the nearest station it kills me. So at any point I start winning the fight, he can just retreat back to the station and the station would kill me. That's the sort of fights FOD wants to take on, ones that are totally disbalanced in his favour. But from his point of view, as a Fed in Sol, fighting against non-Feds in Sol, he's within his rights to do that. I do find it funny that he keeps going after me while I'm pirating, because Archon Delane has a treaty with the Federation, and we honour our side of that treaty, but, you know, we jump to FedEx's aid if they need aid in PvP fights. It's an old accord, and for that they allow us to pirate free in Sol, which at the moment, though FOD is not in FedEx, a Fed in FOD is not living up to that agreement. He's harassing us and pestering us while we pirate, but you know, it is at least quite amusing. And yeah, no, here I'm just sort of like hanging around. I've got no interest in fighting in and around the station. You know, it's like I say, it's a shrewd move from his point of view. It's cheap, but that's, you know, so be it. If you get attacked by him in and around the station, unless you're, you know, aligned to Zachary Hudson, you can't do anything. Admittedly, I mean, I looped straight back in and reloaded anyway, and it was just a fine, so I could just pay it off. It's not a problem because it's a power play bounty. That's the thing with crimes. The NPC police will only drop in if you're not in power play and you're attacking him. So the crimes thing is a bit of a weird one. People who do power play use crimes, people who don't do power play and the PvPers don't use crimes, and it's caused much confusion over the time. FOD did then get an Anaconda, which we did, you know, attack en masse. It was quite funny. I don't think it was the strongest shielded Anaconda I've ever seen. But you know, the thing is with FOD, you know, he's just going to get chased out over and over and over again when he tries to disrupt us when we're pirating. And it does disrupt us when we're pirating, because I'm in this shooting FOD rather than in a pirate ship pirating people. Back in the old days when we used to deal with things like this, one of us would stay in a pirate ship while the other people would concentrate on chasing away the person trying to disrupt piracy, or the person seeing themselves as a lawful trying to attack pirates. In this case, FOD's, I think, attacking us because of power play. Well, basically we're attacking him because he's been annoying us in Sol lately, and attacking our friends and trying to gank them with station games, which it takes some explaining when you have to explain to people, you know, how someone will be sat right outside the station with crimes on, start shooting at you, and then when you shoot back, the station will kill you. A lot of new players get caught out by that. They don't understand why. It's not, you know, it's not the nicest tactics, but it is what FOD chooses to do, and you know, he's within his rights to do it. That's how the game mechanics work. My only disagreement with him recently was regarding fighter lag. I advised him it was something that's been called an exploit by Frontier, so I'd prefer if he didn't use it. But other than that, I have no issue with any of the tactics he wishes to employ. He's perfectly within his rights to do any of it, but I'm also perfectly within my rights to call it cheap and dirty. You know, if you're going to fly a cope cutter, don't be upset when people call you out for flying a cope cutter. You know, if you torpedo people and fight and you refuse 1v1s, don't be upset when people call you out for refusing 1v1s and using torpedo boats. It's, you know, there's no issue with using torpedo boats. There's no issue with you refusing to fight me 1v1. I have no issue. You're not a sweaty try-hard PvPer. You're not someone that does generally fight 1v1, so don't fight 1v1s. It doesn't bother me, FOD. I don't know why he gets upset with me when I, you know, say stuff to him like that. And he thinks I'm telling him how to play. It's like, I've only asked him not to use fighter lag and cheat. That's beyond that, I don't care. You know, as long as you're not cheating, I don't mind what dirty tactics you want to use, but I will still call them dirty tactics. Anyway, that's all for this video. Thank you very much for watching. I've spotted someone I actually will fight.